Hello, welcome to Tay and Nin Talk. This is Tay and I'm here with Nin, and today we have a very special episode for you. Why is it so special today, Nin?
Because we've been waiting for this certain movie that we're about to review ever since it was announced.
Yep, it was both of our most anticipated movie of the year. Interstellar will be reviewed on this day.
While we were sitting in the theater, we were just like, wow, it's finally time.
I know, a couple times as I was watching it, I literally said to myself, I can't believe I'm actually watching this right now. It's crazy. And then we'll also have a couple of other reviews. Following Interstellar, we're going to review Nightcrawler, and then we're going to review John Wick. And if we have time, we may talk about some other movies we've seen. But we'll see. This could be a pretty long episode, because Interstellar has a lot to talk about.
Anyway, Interstellar. So, the story synopsis. You gotta know a little about the story. It's about where humans have abused the Earth, so they have to find another planet to live on.
Well, is it that they've abused the Earth? You don't really know anything about it. It's just that there's a blight covering the Earth and the food is all dying. We can't grow any more food.
I guess it's implied.
Maybe. But anyhow, yeah.
And then McConaughey, he's this former NASA guy who's a really good pilot. But then let's see what happens.
Well, he doesn't like farming, but he has to be a farmer because everybody left on Earth has to be a farmer because they're running out of food. And corn is the only thing left that seems to be growing still. Every other type of food is dying.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's called Interstellar, so eventually they get to space.
Yeah.
That's the main part of the movie, I think. But actually, okay, when you go to this one, you have to realize it's not like Gravity. The main theme of the movie is the father-daughter relationship on Earth between Matthew McConaughey and his daughter, and the space travel. I'd say they're 50-50 because they're always switching back and forth between the storyline on Earth and the flying in space.
Yeah, and I think my favorite part was actually the father-daughter stuff because, it different from 2001. It was just actually a human story.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually made me really sad too.
Yeah,
when McConaughey had to leave.
I wish I hadn't even seen any of the trailers because the scene where McConaughey has to leave to go to space, that's the saddest scene.
Yeah, that was so sad.
Oh, and okay, the other scene, there's another scene that's even sadder than that one, but that's a spoiler.
Well, better not say it then.
Yeah, I won't. But there's definitely some really tearjerker moments in this one.
Yeah,
okay.
It's not a normal Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah,
I was kind of surprised. But when a movie is really effective when you get actually sad.
Yeah, well, he really goes for the tearjerker moments. I think it's because originally this was going to be a Spielberg movie but Spielberg decided he didn't want to do it, and then Nolan brothers took over, and then they kind of rewrote it and stuff. So Spielberg kind of is really known for his emotional dramas, so that kind of leaked into it, sort of. Oh, and we had to, I guess we didn't really, why did they go into space is because they see a wormhole.
Yeah.
They realize there's a wormhole, and they decide that the best way for humankind to survive is if they fly into space, enter the unknown wormhole, and see if there's any planets out there that can survive using some embryos.
And let me tell you, when they went into the wormhole, I had no idea what was going to be on the other side.
I know.
I was just on the edge of my seat.
The scene where they enter the wormhole is
it was like you were literally there.
Yeah, I know.
What is going to happen?
I can't even describe it. It's just like you would imagine what a wormhole would be like because you don't know what it's like.
Yeah.
They enter and it's like a giant sphere, and then they circle, and then they kind of enter it, and then they go into this fifth dimension zone where they're it's waves and wavelengths are going on, and then they kind of phase out of it, and then oh whoa, it's crazy.
Yeah, and then they go to this water planet. The entire planet's covered in water. Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, the main premise, there's 3 different planets they have to check out to see if any of them can support life. And they land on each one and different things happen. And it has the classic Nolan element of the story is not what it seems at first. there'll be multiple layers, and it'll get deeper and deeper.
Yeah, there was one moment when it kept switching back from on Earth and then in space, and it got so complicated.
Really?
But I wasn't confused. It was just awesome.
Okay, and I think I have to mention that I thought this wasn't as confusing as Inception, but I wonder if this is because when I saw Inception, I was a little kid. Well, I guess I wasn't a little.
Came out 4 years ago.
4 years ago. Yeah, 4 years ago I didn't know as much about movies, so at first viewing, I had no idea what happened in Inception. But for this one, I felt like I have a solid grasp of what happened the first time. Like, I think it makes sense, and any, like, things that have popped up that I said, well, that doesn't make sense, I've been able to think of why it happened. So, but the main reason I think I understood it was a lot of people in reviews were complaining that unless you knew about relativity, you couldn't understand the movie. And I had watched a History Channel show about relativity, so I already understood the basic concept of it.
Wait, when? Like, for the movie? Or
yeah, a long time before the movie. So I knew all about, like, how black holes and gravity can affect time and different things like that. So I already knew all about it. So maybe that's why I could understand it. But
the reason I could understand it was just because I'm so smart.
Oh. Yeah, so you understood. And okay, and here's the key telling
there's
fact.
actually quite a few flaws in their theories, but I'll leave that to them.
Oh yeah, the cool part is all the theories and stuff, it's all theoretical science in real life. That, I mean, you can't necessarily say, oh, plot hole, because that actually might be possible in real life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, okay, there are some narrative problems, such as, I think there's definitely some paradoxes and stuff in the story.
Well, that might be, like, purposeful, because, like, even the best time travel movies have paradoxes.
Yeah, that's why I'm willing to forgive it, because, I mean, there are some paradoxes and things that don't really fit together, but it didn't subtract from the movie too much from me, because, like, Terminator has paradoxes. I still love Terminator. You know, and so... What do you think, Nin, about that?
I think that's awesome, Jay. Good opinion. Okay, let's talk about the acting.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's
we haven't mentioned it. Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, he was really good.
He was so good. Especially during the emotional moments.
Yeah, he really sold you on the emotional. But it is true that McConaughey and Hathaway are the only people that are really, like, the main characters besides his daughter. Like, like, I think it's true with Nolan movies that the characters are the vehicle for the story, instead of the story being brought out through the characters. Like,
yeah, Nolan's not a big character guy.
Yeah, like, remember one of our earlier episodes we debated what's more important, characters or story?
Yeah.
Nolan would probably say that the story is more important than the characters.
Yeah. Wait, what did you and me say?
I don't remember what I said.
I think you said characters and I said story.
Oh, okay.
But
well, yeah, but anyhow, the characters are solid once again. It's kind of like Inception, where all the characters' acting is really good, but it's like, that's not the main aspect of the movie.
Because, like, in Inception, Ariadne's, like, mostly the whole time just asking questions and stuff to help you figure out the plot.
Yeah.
So she's, like, basically what you would be if you were there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Interstellar kind of has that, too. Like, there's a few scenes where they're, like, explaining...
Exposition.
Yeah.
But, okay, everybody likes to complain about exposition, but then they complain when they can't understand it. So it's like, what's the best way to do it?
It's a paradox.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't bother me. I never said, oh, come on, this is a ridiculously... I mean, I guess there is one scene where they're explaining, like, how wormholes work.
And they wouldn't do that because they already know about it. They use
the analogy, like, oh, with a paper and pen and whatever, but why would the scientists be using that analogy, considering they probably already know how wormholes work?
Yeah. There was a few parts where it was just directed towards the audience.
Yeah.
But I didn't care because, like, the whole movie, I was just engrossed. Even though it was, like, 2 hours and 46 minutes.
Oh, yeah, that was, like, the most surprising thing. Like, it was 2 hours and 49 minutes, and after it was over, I was like, wow, that felt like 2 hours.
But it must have been 2 hours and 46, because I got up and I could barely move.
Oh, yeah. Oh man, I just did not want to miss a minute of it though.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, every moment you're just trying to figure out the story and you're feeling for the characters.
Yeah. I think the best scenes are the space scenes though.
What do you mean best?
Well, like the most entertaining, the most like
Well, yeah.
interesting and like new. Cuz like you could say that the character drama and stuff is kind of like there was some scenes that I thought were cheesy. Like some of the scenes that try to make you cry, you actually feel like crying, but the other scenes are like, oh, this is a little cheesy. I thought, honestly, but like the one scene with Michael Caine's character.
You didn't like that?
No, I thought that scene was cheesy.
His acting was extraordinary, though.
It was, yeah, it was pretty good. Well, yeah, I mean, Michael Caine once again plays the wise old man, number one.
Yeah.
But I
I
don't know.
wonder if Michael Caine has ever just played like an average intelligence old guy that doesn't have very much wisdom.
No, I don't.
That would
think
really be stretching his acting limits. Okay, we gotta talk about the influences, though.
Yeah, okay. Mainly, I heard that this was influenced by 2001 and The Right Stuff. And I had already seen 2001 before it, and I also had recently bought The Right Stuff, so I watched it before. And I definitely have to agree. Those are the two main influences, and you can totally tell that the story and the space scenes and like the narrative are influenced by 2001.
Well, yeah, totally.
And-
Every space scene almost, I was thinking 2001.
Yeah, it's like it's a lot like 2001. You can.
And it's not a bad thing.
It's not a
but, like,
ripoff, but
if you haven't seen 2001, you might think it's a little more like awesome than it actually.
Oh yeah, you might think it's
is,
more
you know?
original than it actually is, if you haven't seen 2001. And then The Right Stuff was the emotional part of it. Was
Yeah.
totally from The Right Stuff, because in The Right Stuff, it's kind of like about the struggle and like to get to space. The group of guys, they just gotta get in space, and it's like a race, and like how important it is to get to space. And so you can totally see the influence going to Interstellar, where McConaughey's character, his philosophy is that he doesn't think the Earth is important anymore, and that we have to go to space in order to, like, what's that line he says where something about
Our destiny lies above us.
no, it's about how all we care about is our space in the dirt or something.
Oh yeah, that's a good line.
Yeah, they use that line in the trailer, but that really emphasizes how his character feels, and that aspect was totally influenced by The Right Stuff, I think.
And also, Nolan was overall influenced by like the blockbusters he was inspired by when he was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, I watched an interview and he talked about like Star Wars and Spielberg movies.
Yeah.
Because that was like the golden age of the blockbuster he was talking about.
Okay.
And you could, like, he was asked like why he made the film, and the reason he did it because like he wanted to give people the same sense of like awe of like watching an awesome blockbuster.
Oh, that's cool. That's an interesting.
Because that's kind of
thought.
been gone. Like nowadays, there's not as many of those. Like
Well, nowadays blockbusters are just big CG fests.
yeah, or like a superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
And like they're not as original. Like imagine back then, like lining up outside to watch Jaws. You know?
Oh yeah, like the original idea is almost dead today.
Yeah.
Just think of coming into a movie and saying, "Wow, I just can't believe what happened." I think Nolan is the best at that, because like with Inception or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like you had never seen anything like Inception when you went in there. That was
It just gives you this like I was thinking last night. It gives you this feeling like you're not even in real like life. You're actually in the movie's world.
Yeah, that was crazy.
And like only the best blockbusters can do that, like Star Wars and stuff.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't, but okay, don't get too concerned. Like, it's not as good as Star Wars or Jaws or anything like that, though.
Well, as far as like compared to most recent blockbusters, like you can compare it to Nolan's other movies. Like when you're about to see like the new Batman movie, it's like a totally different feeling than seeing the new like Thor movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly. Like,
It feels like an event more than just something like,
Like-
oh, yeah, I'm gonna see the Thor movie.
yeah, it's like, oh, Thor. Yeah, I wonder if he's gonna hit some guys with his hammer.
Yeah.
But when you go into a Nolan movie, you're like, I wonder what deep things are gonna happen. Like, I wonder what I'm gonna see.
And you know it's gonna affect you like for the rest of my life, I'll be probably like watch Interstellar. And
Yeah. Okay. We should get.
awesome.
I'm gonna get the Blu-ray when it comes out. Don't you want to get it?
I want to watch all the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. And this, if you like to go to a movie like with your friends and then afterwards sit it down and talk about it, okay, everyone will be talking about this when you get out. One person is going to chime up, oh, I don't get this, and then the other guy's going to say, well, this is why that happened, and then you're going to be talking about it, the performances, the scenes that you thought was, oh, remember, there's an action scene in this one near the end where two ships have to line up together and they're like spinning, and oh, that was brilliant. Yeah. Remember, it was like spinning and you had to like, oh, that was such a good scene.
There's so much awesome stuff in the movie, you'll just want to talk about it.
Oh, okay. We were talking influences. A lot of people are going to compare this to Gravity, since Gravity came out last year.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like Gravity really in any way, except for the fact that they go to space, because I always like to think of Gravity as a roller coaster ride. You get on the ride and you're there. You put yourself in the position of the main character, so you're like, oh, I'm flying through space, I'm gonna die, and there's explosions going through, and there's like waves, and you're like, oh, this is awesome. But Interstellar is on a different level of quality than Gravity. It has something to say. It's not just strap in for the summer's big ride. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's you strap in and you're like, but you're thinking about more than just what's happening. There's deeper meaning and stuff in it. I would definitely say it's better than Gravity. Mm-hmm. Because Gravity becomes more stale the more you watch it, and I'm feeling Interstellar will become like more interesting, or like I don't think anyone's initial rating will be their final thoughts of the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see it one time, there's no way you can know for sure your positive feeling on it.
And like compared to Gravity, like it may not win as many like technical Oscars. But
I think it should win some technical Oscars.
It might win some. But overall, over the long term, I think it'll be more influential than Gravity.
Well, yeah, Gravity will be remembered like, oh, you just bought your new HD TV. Oh, you should throw in Gravity to see how cool it looks. But
you'll invite your buddies over to watch Interstellar. Like,
oh,
bro, you haven't seen Interstellar?
Movie night.
Over.
Movie night. You have to see this. You haven't seen it yet. But I mean, you have to see 2001 though. I mean, 2001 is way better.
Yeah. Well, we gotta give it some time before we call it the new 2001. I don't think it'll be anywhere near.
Okay, I think for some people it'll the cheesier emotional moments. If you don't buy that, you won't like the movie. But
I think everyone can buy it.
I bought some of it, and so that's why I still enjoyed it. And then the space moments. I don't think anybody can say that they didn't like the stuff that happens in space.
Yeah. I just think people who like to stroke their ego are gonna complain about the movie.
Yeah,
but I think everyone will at least like enjoy it and say it was good.
Yeah,
if you're gonna be honest.
Yeah, because I don't think there's a lot of people that like to say, "Oh, Nolan, he's so bad" or whatever. Like, it's the troll thing to do. Whatever is cool or popular to distract from it. But I don't think any honest critic could say that it was a bad movie.
Mm-hmm. And it's only at like 70 something on Metacritic.
Or Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And Metacritic.
I'm kind of like, come on, man. How could you give that up? If you could choose between fresh or rotten, how could you say that it was rotten instead of fresh? I mean,
some critics probably just want to like affect the rating or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I almost felt like they were saying, "Oh, I'm gonna be the one guy that says this is rotten," so I look really smart. But then they all had the same idea.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's definitely problems, though. I mean, where would you rank it in Nolan's overall movies? Like,
I'd say it's like I was thinking I couldn't decide which one was better between The Dark Knight Rises and Interstellar.
Yeah.
Like most people can agree, Dark Knight Rises was not as good as The Dark Knight. It had a few problems, but it's still like completely awesome. Mm-hmm. So I'd say close to The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. I mean it's obviously, to me, it's nowhere near as good as like Dark Knight. It's nowhere near as good as Inception. It's not
not as good as The Prestige.
Not as good as The Prestige. It's not. What about Batman Begins? I don't know. I mean, it's in the Batman Begins, Dark Knight Rises, Interstellar range. It's better than Insomnia, I would say.
Yeah, not as good as Memento though.
Yeah, no, not as good as Memento. So yeah, that's how. There's your range. You know, if you're thinking about it, A lot of people hate Dark Knight Rises, though.
Well, if you hate Dark Knight Rises, you'll probably hate Interstellar.
Yeah. That's what I was about to say. If you say, "Oh, I hate Dark Knight Rises," I think you'll be a person that hates Interstellar then.
Yeah.
Because for some reason I was getting the same feeling, like that they're about as good as each other.
Like if you hate plot holes in movies.
Oh yeah, if you think that film
dig up some plot holes.
Yeah, if you think film criticism is a scan for plot holes, then you'll love this movie because you'll be saying, "Oh, there's so many plot holes." you'll be just being bashing heaven.
But when I was watching it, I wasn't scanning for plot holes at all.
No, yeah, I mean
I was just engrossed.
There are paradoxes and there are maybe a hole or two, but like, who knows if they even are holes? Like, the common public, like for Dark Knight Rises, says, "Oh, how did Bruce Wayne get back to Gotham?" That one's been disproven, but everybody keeps bringing it up. So, I'm not gonna say that there are paradoxes and plot holes until I fully understand the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But.
So,
yeah.
ratings?
Oh, wait. What about one more thing? What about the soundtrack? It's by Zimmer, so we should talk about it.
Yeah, everyone can agree the soundtrack was awesome.
Yeah, it had the right moments in it. It wasn't generic. It wasn't like his other ones, was it? It
had like a good melody, but it's not like anything you've ever heard before, I'd say.
Yeah, and there is some like the soundtrack with the black hole, when like the music and the sound effects during the black hole. Oh, that was like.
Yeah, it perfectly complemented the movie.
Yeah, the sound was really good. The sound design was really cool.
It's similar to his other movies soundtracks. Like, it's not like Star Wars big glaring thing. It's just the background.
Yeah.
Noise.
It's meant to enhance the scene, not be its own character, such as like Superman or, like Star Wars and stuff like Indiana Jones. You're not going to be going dun 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 after.
You're not going to be like humming it.
Yeah,
but you're gonna be like, man, that was like that really enhanced the movie.
Yeah. It's like an enhancer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about ratings then? We haven't even talked about ratings, so I don't even.
I've decided on a rating. Okay. I give it a 9.
A 9?
Yeah.
Okay, I give it an 8.
You gave it an 8?
Mm-hmm.
Not an 8.5?
I'm gonna give it an 8 on IMDb.
What about 8.5?
Well, are we talking IMDb or just...
Not IMDb.
Okay, yeah, I give it 8 to 9 range.
Oh, yeah. I'd just give it a 9. I wouldn't give it a range.
You just give it a straight 9?
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wanted to, like, make sure my review is future-proof. Like, with Dark Knight Rises, I was originally thinking, 10.
Yeah.
But then over time, it didn't seem as much as a 10 to me. So... I think that if I give it an 8, that'll always be my rating, or like 8.3 or something like that. Because, I mean, to me it wasn't a perfect film, or like, I don't know if it'll be a classic of all time.
Well, I think every Spielberg movie, like, even though not all of them are great, they're all like known.
That's true.
Like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Like, that's not like a 10 out of 10, but like everyone loves that movie, and everyone's gonna see it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, I think Nolan, if he keeps doing this stuff, he's gonna be like an all-time best director.
Yeah.
If he keeps like expanding his range.
Yeah, like now that he's tried to do like the emotional drama. You know what I would like to see with Nolan is just go to something that's not like the next mind-blowing, like drilling to the core of the earth or going to the fifth dimension. How about we just do something that's just close to Earth?
Well, he did that in Memento, kind of.
Yeah, that was his original. Like, go back to something a little bit more character-driven on Earth. That could be kind of cool.
Like, his movies always have, like, this big ending, like, everything comes back together.
Yeah, like it's always supposed to be really mind-blowing.
If he just did, like, a normal one where the ending just kind of, like, ends it, it would be new for him.
Yeah, maybe like a murder mystery or, like, a drama or something like that.
Yeah, like a character drama with like a really good performance.
Yeah,
that would be new for Nolan.
Yeah, but who knows what he's doing next? He probably has he's probably working on something right now. Well, I've only been working on the script for the last 20 years. You go into the fifth dimension and then you go into the third dream layer.
What if Christopher Nolan did like a new Matrix movie?
Wow.
That would be mind blowing.
Yeah, that would be.
The action might not be good, but then the story would be so mind blowing.
Yeah, it's something cool.
He would have to hire some good action.
You know what I always thought about? What if two directors did a team-up movie.
Oh yeah.
They never, like, it's always just one director. How come you never get two directors doing a team-up? Like, you have dual director teams, like the Coen brothers and Wachowskis. How come you never see a team-up movie?
Well, maybe like each guy has his own style, so
Yeah,
neither would want to give in.
They have their own vision, so they probably wouldn't want to, like...
It would probably just be like, end up just being a mix of the two, and it wouldn't work.
Yeah, maybe. But it would be interesting.
But enough of this theorizing. We
Yeah.
gotta keep going on with our reviews. So our next one's gonna be Nightcrawler.
Yeah, Nightcrawler. Okay, Nightcrawler is kind of an indie flick. It was made on a budget of
Low budget.
$8 million. But the main draw was the reviews were high, and Jake Gyllenhaal was getting a lot of buzz from his performance in the movie. So that's what made me want to see it. The story is about Gyllenhaal is kind of a weird sort of a guy. He
doesn't really have any friends or family. He just
drives around in his beat up car, and
he's trying to find work.
Yeah, he's trying to find work, basically. It's kind of like one of those movies where there's no story, but then there is a story.
Yeah.
So he sees this guy. There's a crash on the highway, and then he sees like all the people like recording it with like video cameras, and then he realizes that they're selling their like the pictures of different accidents or like crimes or whatever. They're selling the video of that to like all the local news channels and getting paid for it. So it's kind of a freelance video guy, and he thinks, oh yeah, I should do that. And he's like, this performance is interesting.
Yeah, like if you've seen any other Jake Gyllenhaal movies, completely different. You won't even recognize
Yeah,
him.
it's not like anything you've seen from Gyllenhaal before. And we keep saying, we said he was underrated, and it's so true.
Yeah.
He's underrated. Like, okay, he loses 30 pounds for this role, and he's like, his neck is like, you can still see his skin like used to be bigger. It's like really thin and like wiry.
Yeah.
And he's like, his dialogue in this one is like
he talks like a robot who just like read a dictionary and then like strings words together.
Yeah, like I think in the movie his character doesn't have any education, like high school or like above, like maybe he went to like 8th grade and then left.
Yeah.
But then he studies like different like textbooks. So he talks in sort of a corporate speak, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like he says like things like, what would he say?
Like he doesn't have much social communication skills.
Yeah.
But he knows like how to get what he wants with words.
Oh yeah. Like it's almost like he has no social skills. All he did was read about how to have social skills.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm trying to think of what something he would say. Like he'd say, instead of saying, all right, let's make a deal, I'll give you $500, you give me $500 for this video clip, he'd say, my video clip is worth $500 based on this textbook, so give me $500 for this clip. He'd say something like that, and then the person, like, it basically, you have to see this one for his performance.
Yeah, there's gonna be Oscar nom, I bet.
Yeah,
at least that'd be a crime if he didn't get an Oscar nom.
Yeah, it's just so interesting. Like, so the story goes, he goes from like different, he gets a police scanner, and whenever there's a crime, he like tries to get there as fast as possible so he can record video of it. And he's totally indifferent to whatever happened. Like, there could be a dead guy laying on the ground, he doesn't care. All he cares about is if he gets the correct shot for his video.
Yeah, and then like there's really interesting subject matter concerning like the seedy underground of the news, which may sound stupid, but it's actually true.
Oh yeah, like the local news in Los Angeles.
There's this woman, and then she's like, "Get me the most like gruesome stuff you can get," you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I love a scene where Gyllenhaal says, 30 seconds of the news is just sports, current events, worldwide news, and 90% of the news is who is dead, or something like that.
Yeah, because like the news is just a business, so they just want the most viewers.
Yeah, it's almost like local news is like a cheap magazine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't care if they actually give you the news. All they care about is if you watch it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so true, because whenever you watch the nightly news, what is it? John was murdered on 5th Street. There's a break-in here. All right, let's go to Bill for Sports.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not really news, you know? And in the movie, they try to spin the story to say what they want to say. Even though different things happen or they're not related, they spin it together. Like, oh, there's a crime spree in upper end neighborhoods. They're trying to spin that story. May not be true, but they're spinning it.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me of Network because of the news aspect, how they're willing to do anything to get ratings. That was kind of cool. But it's not really Light Network, but the news aspect is Light Network.
Yeah. And it also reminded me of American Psycho. And that may seem like a weird comparison, but Patrick Bateman in American Psycho is like this completely emotionless guy. And he the characters are really comparable.
Yeah, Gyllenhaal is a lot like Patrick Bateman. And it is a lot like American Psycho because you're like, oh, how far is he going? Oh, what's happening?
Yeah, because Gyllenhaal basically is the villain of the movie.
Yeah, like he's evil, kind of.
Like you can't like him. You kind of like hate what he does, even though it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Joker in The Dark Knight.
Yeah. That's true.
And,
like,
yeah.
you can't say, oh, he's doing the right thing, but you can say, oh, I wonder what he's gonna do next.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting, and then it all comes down to some climactic, intense moments at the end.
It gets very intense. I was just on the edge of my seat. I think it's one of the best endings of recent memory.
Really, yeah. I liked the ending. I don't know. It was really intense. I don't know what was the best scene. It was overall just everything was good. There was no like negatives, kind of, really.
Yeah, no negatives.
I can't think of any negatives of it. So it's one of the best of the year, honestly.
Yeah.
And the coolest part about it is, or one of the cool things is that the budget was $8 million, but it looked like a high budget movie. Like there's no point where you say, oh, this is kind of a lower budget movie. This seemed like it was made for like $40 million.
Yeah, you'd never tell. I mean, the cinematography's good. Like everything's good. There's no low quality stuff.
Yeah, so if you're listening to this, you should watch Nightcrawler.
Yeah, don't see Ouija or Annabelle or anything.
Yeah, please, I beg you, do not watch Ouija, Annabelle, or any crap that comes out.
Yeah.
It's not. Just don't even go to it ironically. Like, oh, this isn't scary. Let's go see it. That only makes the theaters make more crappy movies.
Yeah.
So
we gotta send the message that we don't want more of those crappy movies. We gotta see Nightcrawler.
Watch
and
Nightcrawler.
they'll make more movies like that.
Yeah. Go see Nightcrawler. You'll like it. It's really good.
Yeah.
So what are our ratings?
I'd give it an 8.
So will I.
Range?
8 to 8 range.
Yeah, I wouldn't say quite 9.
No, it's nowhere near 9, but it is an 8.
Yeah, I'd give it an 8.
Yeah. So you definitely will like Nightcrawler if you watch it, if you're a film fan.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. John Wick.
Yeah, a completely different movie.
John Wick.
To the last two.
Yeah, John Wick is a pure action flick. This is basically it's for action movie fans. If you like action, you're gonna love John Wick.
Mm-hmm.
The storyline is it's actually a comeback for Keanu Reeves, who hasn't been in really any good movies since Matrix.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, he hasn't been in anything good since Matrix. And this one is good, actually. He's back.
Yeah, he's back.
Yeah.
He plays an ex-hitman.
Uh-huh.
And he used to work for this organization, but he's done now because and then he fell in love with this girl.
Yeah, he quit being a hitman because he fell in love.
But then she had cancer, I think.
Yeah, she got some sort of disease and she died. And so it starts out and he's kind of depressed. That's where it starts out, is his wife is dead.
Yeah.
And
but then it's their anniversary. So right before she died, she bought him a dog. So it arrives at his door.
Mm-hmm.
So then he really loves this dog because it was from his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And then
don't spoil it though.
Well, it's a revenge story, so I have to say what happens.
No, don't spoil it. I don't think you should spoil it, but
okay.
Something happens, and
he gets tangled up with these gang members.
Yeah, it's a revenge storyline. So basically, John Wick is laying his vengeance upon all members of this gang, and his main goal is to kill this one specific guy, the son of a mob boss.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all he cares about. He's relentless, and he's willing to kill anybody. It's okay. You're not gonna like this one unless you like action, though. But if you do like action, you're gonna love it, specifically because this action is better than other action.
Yeah.
The fighting is like it's choreographed in such a way that it seems like he actually is an assassin. Like usually when you watch a gunfight, like such as Taken, he'll shoot all the guys like in the legs and the chest and everything. John Wick does only aims for the head, and he never misses.
Yeah.
Like what he'll do is the guys will come at him, and he'll grab one guy, he'll shoot another guy in the head, and then he'll shoot the other guy he has in his hand in the head.
Yeah, like coldly efficient.
Yeah, and it's like a whip. Like he'll aim one way, shoot someone, aim the other way, shoot another guy, and it's like it's all in a smooth motion, almost like I don't know. It's sick.
And there's one scene where there's like a bunch of goons coming to kill him, and he has to just defend himself.
Yeah,
and it's probably one of the best action scenes ever.
Yeah, he's
maybe not, but
no, but he's in his house, and he calls the mob boss, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill your son," pretty much. And then then the guy's like, "Okay," and then you hear like cars driving up, and then there's like 15 assassins coming to kill him, and he's like in his house, and he fights them like one by one. He like hides behind the doors. He's like shooting guys, and if you can tell it, all we care about in this one is the action. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's all about watching those action scenes.
And the action's good because it's filmed in a way that you can actually see it.
Yeah.
Unlike Taken 2, where there's like a cut every millisecond, and you can't even tell what's happening.
Yeah, it's like smooth.
This movie just shows a broad view of what's happening, so you can see all the awesome choreography.
Yeah, and like another cool thing is like all of his guns, he only shoots the amount of bullets the gun actually has in real life, and then if he needs to reload, you actually see him reloading.
Yeah,
it's really cool. And then oh man, what else? I mean, okay, just put this in perspective. You are not gonna like this movie if you're a fan of like pure drama. All you care about is how good was the acting or anything like that. This isn't the movie for you. It's for action fans. You know what I mean?
It's also for dudes.
Yeah, like I don't know. I can't think of any girls that would like this movie.
I think there was a few girls in the theater.
Was there?
Did you notice?
I'm not sure.
I heard a few say they liked it.
Maybe.
But maybe it's like a really good romance movie a guy would like, and this is like a really good action movie, so maybe some girls would like it.
Oh yeah, maybe that's true, yeah. Like, okay, yeah, that's a good analogy, because a girl will like a terrible romance movie, and a guy might like a bad action movie just because it's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
But a truly quality movie, both girls and boys will like. So, yeah, but I mean, it does get the ending is everything is very cliche that happens, like everything that like the end, the mob boss and all this, it's pretty cliched. There is one original aspect though. There's this motel or whatever that all the assassins can go stay at, but you can only go there if you pay with like gold coins to get in. That was really cool. It's like what do they call it? It was like something, I don't know, anyhow. Like, and it has like specific rules. Like, it's owned by this guy, and he makes rules like you can't kill anybody or talk about any assassin business while you're there. So like all the assassins go there and they like pay to get in, and then you can't kill, like you can't be killed there, and if you break the rules you'll be killed. So like it's kind of like a safe zone for all the assassins in the city. It's really cool. That was kind of a like unexpected aspect that made it better.
And one thing we gotta mention is the soundtrack, because for some reason me and Taylor came out of the theater and the soundtrack was just stuck in our heads.
Yeah,
it was just so cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. I guess you have to mention one of the action scenes, which takes place in a club, and that's probably the most that's the standout action scene.
Maybe.
And during the whole club scene, there's like different music playing, and it's really cool. It's like he enters the floor and he's like shooting people, and it reminded me of Collateral, of course, because that has the most memorable club scene.
Like, it'll make you want to go out and buy the soundtrack and, like, pretend to shoot people.
Yeah, it's awesome. But, yeah, anyhow, it's a good soundtrack. It really added to the movie. But, what did you think of Keanu in the movie?
Keanu?
Yeah.
He was Keanu-tastic. I mean, I always liked Keanu, even though his acting is pretty much sucky.
Yeah, I mean, I watched Dracula, and let's just say his acting was terrible in Dracula. But he's not known for being a good actor. He's just known for being Keanu.
He's, like, just his likable Keanu self.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I really like this one. And
he actually had a pretty good, okay performance.
Yeah, there was some good acting.
There was some emotional scenes.
Yeah. Like, you couldn't say it was bad, I don't think.
But his character was mostly, like, kind of a cold guy.
Yeah.
So it didn't require too much emotion.
Yeah, it really reminded me of the video game Hitman.
Yeah. If you ever played Hitman Absolution, this is pretty much like the movie version of that game.
And Splinter Cell Conviction.
And Splinter Cell Conviction, too.
Yeah, it reminded me of Splinter Cell and Hitman, mostly. But it was cool. Me and him were just both thinking Hitman. There's this one scene where he's just walking across.
Yeah, when he walks up to the club, he has a suit and like a briefcase.
Yeah, he wears an all black suit, completely black. His tie is black, his undershirt is black, and then he only uses one gun. Like, it's not stylized, it's realistic. He has one pistol, and he just he aims, he points where he's aiming, and he shoots the guy in the head. That's pretty much. It's like boom, boom, boom. He's shooting all the different guys. It's cool. And then Dafoe is in it too. Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, Dafoe. He plays his buddy. He's a sniper.
Yeah, he's an assassin. That was kind of a cool character.
Me and Tay were like, Dafoe is always like the best secondhand character in every movie.
Yeah. Yeah, Dafoe was good. The main bad guy, what'd you think of him?
Forgettable. But
yeah, he was okay. If you want to know how good it was, I liked it more than Equalizer.
Way better than Equalizer.
Equalizer was like, if you took the bad guy from Equalizer and put it in John Wick, you may have had a classic on your hands. But too bad.
Yeah. Oh, who was better, Denzel or Keanu?
Well, Denzel was better, but
I liked
Denzel had better acting and like depth, but I liked Keanu.
Keanu was way better during the action scenes.
Yeah,
I couldn't take Denzel seriously during the action scenes because he's like 80. He's like 60, but Keanu I could totally take seriously.
Yeah, Keanu.
Like, I would imagine him being.
Well, I don't think he did all the stunts though. I think he had a stunt double.
He did?
I think so. Oh, but everything is really cool in it. It has great car action, shooting. He uses pistols, shotguns, sniper rifles, fists. Yeah, there's a lot of good fights in it. So if you like action movies, you'll like it. So what did you give it for a rating then?
Well, I gave it an 8 on IMDb.
Ooh, that's pretty high.
But I gave it an action movie 8.
Yeah, for an action movie, you could give it a high end rating, but I would give it a 7 for indicating that I think it's a good movie.
Like, I would compare it to like Die Hard 3. Like, that's like the perfect comparison, because that's like an action movie, like everyone loves it.
That's an interesting. Yeah. That's a pretty good comparison. I think Die Hard 3.
Like, it's not,
Die Hard 3 is better though.
It's not classic like the original Die Hard, but I mean, if you've seen Die Hard 3 and you like that, you'll definitely like John Wick.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I would give it a 7, and I would say it's probably. I mean, there's two different ratings. If you're an action fan, you're gonna give it an 8. If you're just a film fan, like you like indie movies and whatever, you're gonna give it like a 6. So there's the range for you people.
I'd give it a 7 to 8 range, actually.
I would give it a 7 to 7 range, pretty much.
Really?
If I'm just being hard-nosed critic, 7 would be my rating.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I know that I enjoyed it more than just a 7.0. You know what I mean? So I really liked it. But so there you go. You could wait till it comes out on rental if you're not sure, but I guarantee you that during those action scenes, you'll enjoy that if you like action. So that's
definitely recommend that.
So yeah, those are our 3 reviews, our big reviews. I'm glad we saw those movies. We never have any negative reviews because we usually know that we're gonna like a movie if we go to the theater to see it. Yeah, usually not disappointed. All right, so let's see. We could do a segment where we talk about any other movies we recently saw. One that we should definitely mention was we finally took it off of our list of shame movies that we haven't seen. I can't believe you haven't seen it. Scarface. we finally watched it with Pacino, and of course, it's great.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's a classic. It's so 80s and so good.
Yeah.
Was it Pacino's best performance? One of his best.
One of his best.
Besides Godfather, it's probably his best.
I personally think his best is Godfather Part 2.
Yeah, yeah.
But and Scent of a Woman.
Yeah, it's better than Scent of a Woman.
Well, yeah, the movie's better.
And his performance.
I don't know.
Yeah, come on. Okay, so we shouldn't really do a full review. I mean, Scarface has been out for a long time. If you haven't heard of it yet, I mean, everybody knows about Scarface. It's about Tony Montoya, the gangster. Montana? I thought it was Montoya.
Yeah, better click.
Let me look. I think you're probably right. But anyhow, that doesn't really matter. But his rise and fall from the criminal underworld. It's the classic story. Oh, you're right. It's Montana. I wonder why I thought it was Montoya.
Oh, and I kind of had this random thought, like, people who criticize, like, violence in the media.
Mm-hmm.
And they say, like, oh, Scarface, look at this. It's affecting kids.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
so violent. But then if you actually watch the movie, it's, like, condemning that lifestyle.
Yeah, it's like Breaking Bad, where it doesn't condone anything that happens, and it shows you why it's bad. You know what I mean? Like, if you watch this movie and you be like, hey, I want to be like Scarface, you must be really dumb.
Yeah, didn't understand the movie at all.
Yeah, I know. And then, like, it inspired, like, all the rappers. Oh, I'm so hardcore, I'm like Scarface. Come on, man. But, so yeah, I gave Scarface a 9.
Same here.
Yeah, I agree that one's a classic. And, let's see, what else? We also rented, from last year, Inside Llewyn Davis. The
Joel and Ethan Coen directed.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I liked it. That was worth watching. It's definitely film viewers movie. You know, it's kind of slow. It's got a lot of musical features in it and stuff. The main guy, Oscar Isaac, was really good. Did he get nominated or anything? I mean,
I don't think so.
It's kind of an Oscar type movie. Like, it's just you'll know it when you see it. It's got the quality stuff happening in it. It's got the good cinematography, the good acting performances, the narrative and stuff, and there's good musical performances in it. And overall I liked it. And it wasn't a typical, like, I think it's a biopic, isn't it? Is this a real person?
I don't know.
Well, if it is a real person, it's not the generic biopic type story. But if he's not real, it's just a good story, you know.
Yeah. And
it's just about a musician trying to get famous, trying to get noticed and, like, get off. Like, he lives in people's, like, he bums on their couches and goes from place to place trying to, like, get famous, sort of. And it was a good movie. It was, I don't know.
It was enjoyable, but I wouldn't want to see it again.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really want to see it again, but I saw the quality, but I didn't see as much of the enjoyment. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'd give it a 7.
Yeah, I give it a 7, but it's at 7.5 on IMDb. I'd say that's a very valid score. It seems accurate to me. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, should we wrap it up? Oh, yeah, we finally watched Bill and Ted. That was kind of funny.
Bill and Ted.
Yeah. We watched Bill and Ted because it was before John Wick. So, I mean, we saw on Netflix they had Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. And we were like, oh, everybody always talks about this. Let's watch it. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
It has all the memes in it, like, whoa.
Yeah.
And excellent.
Got some good quotes.
Yeah, it's funny. It's worth watching once.
It'd probably be better to watch it when you were really young, though.
Yeah. The younger, the better. So, I'm sure a lot of people have, like, a lot of good nostalgia for that one and stuff. They could probably be one of your favorites if you watched it when you were a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
But that was pretty funny. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. We got some good stuff down. I hope you enjoyed listening. Anything else, Ned?
That's all.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.